welcome.
Hello.
It's the currently unnamed Don't Spoil the Ending Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adam.
Hi, I'm John.
Fantastic. We've not actually named it yet. I don't know if you want to try and bounce some ideas about now.
Yeah, we can chuck a few ideas around.
Yeah.
Heggie mentioned before the pod something I like. What was the
Beyonder.
The Beyonder. The Beyonder pod.
Based on the character in the Marvel Universe, I believe.
Secret Wars 2.
Yep. Oh, well, actually, let's just mention we've got Heggie on the pod today.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. That Adam or Heggie, both,
whichever.
Yeah.
Bit of both.
He's our resident Marvel, superhero expert.
That's the point, actually, Heggie. If you want to stay anonymous, do you want to be called A Heggie or Adam H? Which one do you want to go for?
I always think A Heggie sounds really weird. It's like,
we'll try and bleep out whichever one you're not happy with.
I'd probably have to go with it. What was the other one?
A Heggie or Adam H? Yeah.
I'll go with A Heggie.
I think Adam H sounds like a Marvel character. I'm sure there's a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad experiment. Adam H. Sounds like a really failed one.
But we've mentioned you loads, Heggie, on the main pod, I think. You came up quite a few times. So.
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Oh, good. Always good, I think. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
We mentioned some of your podcast ideas a while ago. That was like last year.
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah, I'm still working on them.
That might be something to tune in for.
Yeah, future pod. We'll get ideas. Yeah.
I feel like I'll probably become the most hated person on the internet in a matter of seconds.
So we thought we'd get you on because you are a bit of a Marvel expert.
I do.
I said superhero expert. I know you don't consider yourself much of a superhero expert, but between the three of us, you know a lot more than us two anyway. Like you
I could probably say I'm a bit of a comic book geek.
Bit of a fan.
Yeah.
I remember something a while ago where I mentioned to you, like, I've heard that like Batman and Watchmen universes crossed over and stuff, and you were like, yeah, this has happened, that's happened. I was like, fucking, like, you know this stuff.
Yeah, I remember it being announced that. But yeah, I've dabbled over the years in and out of.
You're much more of a DC fan, though, aren't you, than Marvel?
I used to be a big Marvel fan when I was a kid, like growing up with my dad's comic books and stuff like that. But as I got older, DC's a bit more grittier, isn't it? It's
a bit more realistic kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not as. I feel like obviously like with Disney taking over Marvel, it's gone a bit.
I do agree, but I feel like Marvel, like it's got to be kind of colourful and happy-go-lucky. I feel like that's kind of always been the tone of Marvel in the comics. So.
They've not missed though, have they? Like ever since like Disney sort of took it over, everything they've done. It's been a hit, hasn't it? So you can't. They've not. Yeah. They've changed it for the better because I know Marvel was the comic book sales were dipping low.
Yeah, in the early 2000s they were like on their arse, weren't they? Marvel,
Which is why they sold like X-Men and that to Fox, wasn't it? And Hulk to Universal. And all
Spider-Man to Sony. Yeah, or Columbia Pictures. So.
Yeah, just to try and make a bit of money back. Like
yeah, it's. I feel like it's mad that they split up so much. Like how they've kept a lot of one together and then they completely split. Like Hulk went to Universal,
yeah,
and like his like whole thing went there, and then Fox decided, we'll have X-Men and like the whole like Fantastic Four and like that kind of universe.
All like the space stuff as well, don't they have? Like all like Galactus and that.
Well, you're like they have like that's with Fantastic Four, but like I always think like X-Men, especially like the Dark Phoenix stuff now, that's all in space. Yeah. Well, obviously they changed it for the other film, but
yeah, they made it like more toned down and realistic originally, didn't they? Like X-Men 2 and stuff. But now they are doing the whole space.
They're doing it for the new film, aren't they?
Yeah, for the new one.
This year.
Yeah, because I believe like she turns evil. Jean Grey, that is
Jean Grey.
She turns evil when on a space trip. She gets some like weird cosmic.
It's like a cosmic entity, or something that
turns her into Dark Phoenix.
Because thingy, I can't remember the name of the character. It's going to be made in that because they go into space and it's like Xavier falls. He marries some alien. I can't remember. That's the name. I can't remember it. But her race of people want to kill the Phoenix when they find out it's Jean Grey. And it's like,
yeah.
But if they do that in a film, I think it'll be sick.
Well, I think they are going that way, aren't they? Like in X-Men 2, they just made
she just was
split personality or something like that. I think it was.
Well, I remember thinking that film was great. Like when it first come out, because it was solely based around Wolverine, like heavily.
His background and stuff.
Yeah, like right at the end of the film, I think it was like even before, like like Marvel do the whole, I can't remember, end credits, like they do like end credit scenes. I remember that last bit of the film was they panned back over Alkali Lake, and then that big like shadow of a
Shadow
phoenix
under the water. Yeah.
appeared, and I thought it was sick. But yeah, it's all just died out.
Was it Fox that did that first? Because I feel like the X-Men have always done that post-credit scene, haven't they?
Like X-Men, I don't know if it was one in like the first X-Men film.
Yeah, I don't think that was in the first one.
So like, did Fox start that, or did Marvel?
I feel like Fox did, because X-Men 3 definitely had a post-credit scene where, because Charles Xavier dies during the film, but then he wakes up in the other body in the post-credit scene.
Was Fox the beginning of the post-credit scenes thing?
They could have launched it, yeah.
I know it's just it's a very Marvel thing now, isn't it?
Very MCU thing in it now to do, yeah.
Well, the first one was the Nick Fury one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Iron Man, first one.
I mean, while we're on the topic of Fox, anyway, it's been like you were talking about the Dark Phoenix films that's coming out, and recently there's been the announcement that Disney have purchased all of Fox. Was it 20th Century Fox and the Fox TV?
It's, some weird deal into like they bought all of 21st Century Fox, like movies and
TV.
Only certain elements of TV, though, like all the broadcasting and the news is still just.
They're basically keeping news, aren't they?
Yeah, and like sports broadcasting, I think, as well.
Yeah, but like I say, like you were talking about Dark Phoenix. What do you think is going to be the future after that? Then do you think that'll be the last Fox X-Men film, or
I really don't know.
I don't know. Like, this is the bit that I get like stumped on, because I was thinking how they're gonna, because they've done so much, like in Age of Ultron, they did Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. They said about they got their powers from the Tesseract. No, it wasn't from the Tesseract. It was from which one's in Vision's head? The Power Stone. So they said they got their powers from that, because there's no mention of mutants. Like they're advanced.
Enhanced, was it, or something? Yeah, they mentioned
The Defo could do. All they'd need to do is bring one of the other universes into it, couldn't they?
Yeah,
they could do, they probably won't do it in Avengers 4. I think that's a bit too soon yet, but maybe a future Avengers film or something in the Phase 5 or something.
I like this. The Fantastic. I already kind of got an idea of how they're going to work the Fantastic Four in, like, because at the end of that, in the middle of like Spider-Man Homecoming, he's selling Avengers Tower. Happy says, so that's why he's moving all the stuff, isn't it? Yeah. So he said that Happy's selling Avengers Tower. Well, Tony Stark's selling Avengers Tower, so that's going to become the Baxter Building in Fantastic Four. Yeah, I feel like they'll sink it that bit in there, which I think is pretty cool.
Can I ask, is the Baxter Building a real building in New York, or is it just made up for the comics?
It's just made up for the comics.
Is it just made up building? Yeah,
it might be. There might be building there.
I wasn't sure whether
building,
I mean.
Because like it's based on like a real New York. I don't know whether it was a real thing or not.
I was on Reddit the other day, and there's just a guy who goes around photographing buildings that are used in films and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was in it, but there was certain ones that were in that were used in Marvel films, and it just looked like your bog standard office building. Yeah. But obviously they've put all this CGI on it and made it look dead shiny and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. Seeing these like proper rundown office looking buildings, and they used it as this like
the film set.
Yeah, film set.
When I was there the other week, I think it's the Flanders building. Like it's that one that's on the corner. Like it's like it's dead narrow, but it's like
a weird shape.
Yeah, they used that in Spider-Man. Like the first one, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the Daily Bugle. That's the building they used for it. Right. I thought that was pretty cool. Like they put that in. But yeah. I just don't know where they're going to sort of merge.
Well, I think with the X-Men thing, I think they will just reboot it. Not because they're unhappy with the films or anything, purely because they can't afford to keep the cast on. Like Fassbender, McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, they're all like massive now. You just can't afford to. It's not worth making a film. You've got to pay those lot $50 million each.
The likes of Hugh Jackman say like there's rumours that he would come back. If he said it years ago, didn't he? Like he's only going to stay on as Wolverine if like it became part of the MCU. But Yeah, like I don't know if they'd want to bring him back.
I don't think they would.
Because, like you say, it cost them a bomb, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they could just find an unknown person who, if they cast it well, people will just accept them, won't they? So.
But then I always think back to like you saying they won't like they cost a bomb, but look how many people they're paying now. Like you think, like
like Downey Jr.
Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Hemsworth, like Brie Thingy. Is it Brie?
Brie Olsen.
Brie Olsen. Brie Olsen. God. Yeah, Brie Larson.
Probably don't Google that.
Google Brie Olsen in Marvel film. And it comes up some weird stuff.
I'd watch it.
Like, there's so many massive like names.
Yeah.
I feel like Disney's obviously taken over, so I feel like they should throw money.
The likes of Robert Downey Jr., he's worth so much now, isn't he? He's because he basically started off and has become the face of the MCU.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my understanding of it is after the first Avengers and like Iron Man 3 was being filmed, he was saying like, look, I want a load of money to keep making these films. You're gonna have to pay me a shitload. And I believe Disney did that deal where like they were like, look, we'll back up a truck full of money to your house, but this is it. Like you're doing a 5-film contract.
Yeah,
give you a shit ton of money, but that's it. When this contract's done, like you're done, kind of thing. So.
It was like when they were doing Spider-Man: Homecoming. Tom Holland had an interview and I watched it, and they said like he had like his whole setup, like he has like his own little village of like trailers. But,
I've heard this. Yeah.
Like he has like a little garden set up and things where he goes and sits. But like he was failing, wasn't he, as an actor before?
Yeah,
well, failing, but
he had a massive drug problem. Yeah,
he wasn't doing that well, and then he sort of landed on his feet. So like you can't really. Tony Stark was an alcoholic and was sort of crumbling.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it, didn't you, on a couple of episodes ago on the main show when I mentioned watching the first Iron Man. He went into a Burger King. Tony Stark did in that, and that was apparently you said it was. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the story is that on the night when he turned his life round, he was just like eating Burger King, and he was like, "I've just got to fucking do something." Like, because he was just like off his face on drugs or whatever. Then it was BK that turned him back onto the right path. Like, yeah. So in Iron Man, when he gets back to the US, he orders Burger King straight away and turns up to that conference eating Burger King.
He sits on the floor, doesn't he? Yeah, eating burgers.
So it's a little nod to like BK that apparently that.
Not a bad little thing.
Yeah, BK's great. Love it.
First thing you go for after you've been kidnapped in wherever he was kidnapped.
What I'm thinking of with this like merger though, I ideally I'd love it to them to kind of keep everyone as is, even keep Fox as is, but just under the Disney umbrella, and then just kind of bring the characters in. Like I think they could definitely bring the X-Men in by bringing another universe into it.
Yeah.
Like these. How many bloody Earths is there in the Marvel?
It's like Earth 1, Earth something.
I'm sure, like, when I've looked through, like, certain characters, they're from, like, Earth 6165.
It's like the Ultimate Universe as well.
You know what I mean? There's so many different Earths in the Marvel universe. So that it's not that out there to bring the X-Men in from another universe.
Do Doctor Strange now, because they're doing the whole different dimensions thing. They can there is ways that they could swing it in, but I think there's so many cool things they can do with it now. Like, there's a whole, like, comic book arc of Avengers versus X-Men, but then Dark Phoenix ties into that. So you could, if you, like, obviously I know they're probably shooting for Dark Phoenix now, but they could really, because they said the deal's going to take ages, like it's like the end of this year, it'll be finalised and gone through and everything.
And that's if it even goes through. Like, it could still fall through yet.
Yeah. If it all goes to plan, it just opens up so much more. Because I was like kind of getting to the point where I was thinking, what are Marvel going to do now? Because obviously they've piled all the way up to Infinity War, and then who's going to be the next big bad? Is it going to be like
what's their plan for Phase 4? Oh, sorry, Nick. What's their plan for Phase 4?
But yeah, like, because they announced so many films, didn't they? Because I remember, like, before they announced, like, Civil War, they had that big press conference, they had them all up on the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, they had, like, an Inhumans film up there, didn't they? And then that obviously got pushed back, and then it turned into a TV show.
Still not watched that.
Don't bother. But yeah, I feel like if they don't bring all the characters back from like the Marvel universe, I think they could piss off a lot of people. Like, because there's fans of the MCU, but there's also like a big fan base for the Fox universe, isn't there?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like a lot of people could get pissed off if they just scrap them and start again.
I think they'll have to. I just don't think they can afford to do
And
it. Really.
I feel like with the likes of Deadpool, like that character probably needs to stay in.
I don't think they should touch it at all. I feel like that's one part of anything they shouldn't touch. Like, keep Deadpool as its own thing.
The Disney CEO, is it like Bob Iger?
Bob Iger, yeah.
He's turned around and said, like, we're actually more than open to doing R-rated movies, even though it's never been the thing Disney have ever done, is it? But
no.
with this deal, like, they're kind of going to have to, aren't they? Otherwise, they're just going to have to leave some of the movies dead in the water, like.
I think the Deadpool thing will just... I mean, the thing with Deadpool is it's such a kind of just jokey character anyway, that you don't need continuity for that character, do you? You can just drop him into any plot and it'll... Because he breaks the fourth wall and stuff, it'll just make sense. Like.
I feel like he is an X-ray character in the comics. Like, if you're going to give a kid a comic book, you're going to give him Spider-Man, you're going to give him Iron Man, like things like that. But you're not going to give a kid a Deadpool comic book. I wouldn't. Like, if you're going to go into a comic book shop and go to a comic book person or someone that's into comics, what's good for my 6-year-old kid? They're not going to give him
read this.
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. Like, they're not going to hand him that down because it'll probably traumatise him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't feel like they should touch that at all. It's its own thing. They could probably use him, but like, let's say, when you said about deals with like Marvel, like it's the same deal with like Sony and Marvel have with the Spider-Man thing.
Well, that's it. Have they got a free movie deal where they can do, like, obviously Homecoming and then the 2 sequels. But I think they can use him, Spider-Man, in other movies, can't they? But he can only have 3 movies of his own.
Yeah. He can appear in one. He can appear in like Avengers and things like that. But Sony also have rights to, because like like Iron Man was in Homecoming. Sony can go, well, you've had Iron Man, so we now want Thor. They can use Marvel characters in Sony films as well. Okay. So it can go both ways, which can be really, really good if they keep renewing the contract with Sony.
Yep.
I mean, we've talked a lot about the merger now. So while you're talking about Sony, news recently of Tom Hardy doing a film within the Spider-Man universe.
That's exciting.
Venom.
Is it even within the Spider-Man universe? I'm not even sure if
it's within the Sony Spider-Man universe. It's not going to be within the MCU.
I feel like it's almost its own thing, the villain, like a villain universe or something like.
From what I've heard, like they did a Comic-Con in Sao Paulo the other day, massive room, and Tom Hardy came out. I think it was the director they had. He was talking.
It's Ruben Fleischer, isn't it, who did like Zombieland and stuff, who's doing it.
So they appeared, but then like, do you remember that interview that was with Kevin Feige, and I can't remember the woman's name that was there, and she says like they're all going to exist in the same universe, like they'll cross over. And there's that like meme of Kevin Feige where he's just sat sort of looking at her, and he like looks back at the camera and goes like sort of like has like a little bit of a smirk.
Yeah,
I feel like because of that deal, like Sony can pick characters.
Yeah,
I feel like they will pick characters with Venom.
Right,
like they could. There's going to be something.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've heard that they're going to do like was it? What's the big bad villain team? That's so
Sinister Six.
Yeah,
they wanted to do that, didn't they? Before like it fell through and they merged with.
They were setting it up in Amazing Spider-Man 2. The ending of that, like little post-credit scene and stuff, but
I feel like they want to do that again, though, don't they? Like they're going to do Venom. They're going to try and do a decent like
Doctor Octopus or something. That'd be awesome.
Green Goblin.
Yeah,
see how it goes. Like,
yeah, I was just thinking how they're going to link Venom back to Spider-Man, because like Eddie Brock got the got the symbiote after.
Yeah, from Peter Parker.
I don't think they will though.
Are they gonna? I feel like they could do it in a little bit of a flashback. Like they could do it in the sense of he had it and then he got rid of it and not make a big thing of it. Which I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
because you've already sort of had that kind of.
We've had that movie already. I mean, it weren't great, but we've had it.
Yeah, and I think like everyone kind of knows. Like if you are going to watch them films as a comic book goer, you already know that, so you don't really need that story again.
Yeah. I'm sure as well. I read something the other day that the bad guy in the Venom film, is like not Carnage, but it's like another version of like the evil symbiote suit, and it's like how many people like Peter Parker's not even had it yet. How many other people have got this suit before he does?
It's a crossover, it's supposed to be, isn't it? It's like it's something Protector, the like it's an anti-hero Venom.
Yeah, he's basically an anti-hero in the film, isn't he? Yeah.
And then there's Planet of the Symbiotes, which is when like Venom. It was like they split the symbiote into like 5 different ones. So like Carnage and all these other symbiotes, and it was Scarlet Spider and Spider-Man that had to fight off against them. So apparently it's going to be a merger with that.
Okay.
It sounds cool, but like you said, how are you going to link that in with Tom Holland?
Yeah, with
Spider-Man, because they've got to exist.
Do you think they will? Do you think they'll link it to Tom Holland?
He's been seen on set, hasn't he? That was
Has he actually?
Was he really?
See, this is news.
That's the big news. He's been seen on set, but not in the Spider-Man suit.
Right, okay.
Because the whole deal in the comic books was, he said he let like Venom be Venom, but he can't be in New York City. So he went to San Francisco, and the new Venom film is set in San Francisco, not in New York.
Right, okay.
So that's how they can exist in the same universe, but on opposite sides of the
country.
Still on the opposite sides of the country, aren't they?
I'm happy with that though, because from what I knew, that they were keeping it completely separate from like Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought it was its own thing.
That's
but
what I imagine.
Yeah, but I'm quite happy with that though.
So that means like that's quite cool. Like as well as having these separate Sony films, they're kind of going to be interlinked with the MCU anyway.
That's the thing. It's not it's not been confirmed, but they've said it in like. If you want to chop every interview down, like from Tom Holland to Tom Hardy and everyone like that, the way they say things, and I really don't think they can do it without having a little bit of a, even if it's just Tom Holland popping his head up.
I proper want the Fox to do this though. Do the exact same thing, like stay as Fox and carry on doing your movies, and then just like link them somehow, like every now and then get Thor to pop into.
Deadpool.
Yeah, why not? That'd be an interesting one. I'd love to see a Spider-Man Deadpool buddy film.
They're in the comic books all the time, aren't they?
I mean, I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see a Wolverine Deadpool. I think like even like in the first Deadpool movie when he's like referencing like Hugh Jackman and saying about him like being down under and stuff like that. I feel like that film, especially because of Hugh Jackman, would be sick.
Yeah,
like.
And of course, he was actually in Wolverine Origins once as Deadpool.
The worst.
Yeah, that's dreadful.
That film was dreadful. Like,
yeah, it's the worst X-Men film, without a doubt.
It's the whole like rebrand, like his brother. Like, I hate that story arc of them being brothers.
Yeah,
like,
Sabretooth.
Yeah, they hated each other because of Weapon X, like they didn't, and stuff like that.
Right.
Can I just mention one last thing on the whole like Fox Disney merger? A bit of a prediction. I think in Phase 4. They'll probably start popping mutants into the stories all over the place. Like, you'll be watching, I don't know, what's going to be in Phase 4, Spider-Man 2 or whatever.
Spider-Man 2.
And, like, Peter Parker will be, like, in high school, and there'll be some little kid, like, going, I'm a fucking mutant. Like, he'll be, I've got something popping on my back. You know, like, stuff like that, where they'll keep planting little mutant plot lines throughout the films, leading to the new X-Men universe kind of thing.
You can see it, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely not going to, if the merger ends up going through. I mean, you say Phase 4, is it Avengers 4 that marks?
I don't know.
Phase 3.
I don't know where it's. This is weird, isn't it? Because there's 2 Avengers films, so is it Avengers Infinity War, the first one? Is that the end of it? And then is Avengers to be named, whatever, is it what, Avengers 4?
It's currently been called Avengers 4, yeah.
Avengers 4, is that the start or is that the end of it? But then like you've got Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Man 2.
I mean, these characters are all going to remain in it, aren't they? But we're definitely going to lose one or two of the main heads at the moment before this next one. But I don't know. I feel like Infinity War is going to be. It's almost going to be a precursor to 4. I don't think it's going to be like an end in itself. I think it's going to be like a build up to 4, and then that'll bring everyone in for Avengers 4 in 2019 or something.
Yeah.
And then that'll be the end. And then I think what I'm thinking is going to happen is there's going to be a big smash up of the universe. Everything's going to change, and then Phase 4 will begin, and we'll have I don't know, Black Panther 2.
Oh yeah, Black Panther as well.
That's what I mean. Like we've got that coming out this year, in like a couple of weeks actually, and then Phase 4 will probably begin with like the likes of a Black Panther 2 or
Guardians 3.
Guardians
That's
3.
2020, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
so
it?
it's
They got a date. Well, they got a year.
That'll
Yeah.
definitely be Phase 4 then, won't it?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so we'll have all these things for Phase 4 then.
Yep.
But like I say, I think everything's going to be completely different by that point. I think Avengers 4 is just going to...
I always feel like the Russos aren't scared of actually killing, like completely changing it. Like Joss Whedon introduced a new character and killed a new character without like building any kind of ground.
Yeah.
Like if he killed like Scarlet Witch, for example, or Hawkeye, that like you've already had like a couple of films. They've been in other characters' films.
Yeah.
You kind of be gutted about that a little bit. Where Quicksilver, he was on stream for like 15 minutes. If
He
that.
was shit as well in that film when he Quicksilver.
The worst. What was it like? They're supposed to be from Russia, like the worst
Yeah.
Russian accent ever.
When he gets killed, he's like, "You did not see that coming."
Yeah, it's terrible. But yeah,
So we've done quite a bit of news.
Yep.
Before we move on from news, we've got just a few more little things I want to mention. We've got a movie which I'm not particularly happy about, but apparently a lot of fans are mad about just now, and it's ScarJo's Black Widow movie. Is it ScarJo? Did I say that?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
ScarJo.
ScarJo's Black Widow movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's been in it pretty much. Was it since Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
And she's just been a supporting character through all them movies.
Yeah.
And now finally, they've announced a standalone film. You're not the biggest fan of Marvel as it is, but what's your opinions on that, John?
Like I say, I just couldn't care less about Black Widow film.
Everyone knows on this podcast that I'm a bit of an MCU fan. I quite enjoy them, but that just doesn't interest me whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's a spy film.
Yeah.
It's just another spy film that's under Marvel.
And there you go, another film for Phase 4. That'll be Black Widow, probably.
The Phase 4 is going to be it's going to be a lot of women. This is like, because it's basically been white men through it has though, really.
Yeah.
It's been white men throughout Phase 1 through 3. And now Phase 4, it's gonna switch it up, but it's gonna be black men. It's coloured characters and women, isn't it?
Well, that's another Disney franchise that people have said the same thing's happening to.
No,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
True.
it's a lot of
So
female characters leading the show. John Boyega's in that film as a prominent character. Yep.
I feel like Black Panther. That's in its own. That'd be mint.
That'd be
Obviously,
class,
that's gonna be class. But I just really find it hard to think that character has. To me personally, has got no substance at all.
Same, yeah. Like it's like if they did a Hawkeye movie, that would be awful as well. I don't want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might watch maybe a 6-episode miniseries of it, but I wouldn't care about a film.
This is why, like in the past, me and Nick have spoke about, like, I love the X-Men films and Nick doesn't like them. This is why I think the X-Men films are better, because I don't want to see like a solo film of like Freeze Boy, whatever he's called, Iceman. Can you imagine if they did like the announcement, we're doing a solo film of Iceman? Like, who the fuck cares about that? You know,
Even if they did like Hawkeye, he has like an all right backstory enough to sort of probably hold his own film for one and have his own like villain and stuff like that. But like Scarlet Witch, because apparently it's going to be an origin film.
Black Widow.
Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. Yeah, Black Widow. Apparently it's going to be an origin film.
Has that been confirmed?
It's going to have to be, because what they're going to like.
what else can they do?
What else can they do other than she's gone into like? Was it the end of Civil War? At the end of Winter Soldier, she leaked all that stuff out of the government, all the shield, didn't she? And at the end of Civil War, you never actually saw what happened to her. She stopped Black Panther from stopping Cap and that getting on the Quinjet.
Yeah.
Or getting in the helicopter or wherever they got on. So it's just going to be her laying low and dying her hair blonde.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they touched on it in Avengers 2 as well, didn't they? They had those weird flashbacks to her history. So probably be expanding on that,
Yeah.
you know, like her training to be a killer and stuff.
Everyone knows she's an assassin. Everyone knows she's got a bit of a grim past. She probably went and murdered loads of people. That's it.
That's how we're going to be watching.
Watch Mission Impossible. Watch Mission Impossible.
Yep.
All right. Well, any more news that you wanted to mention? Or?
Not news. I mean, I'm sort of jump into the Black Panther thing. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to?
I mean, I've got a game which I'm gonna let you two play. I've got I've got a few characters from both the Marvel and DC universe, some pretty obscure ones, and I'm gonna tell you the name, the character's name. I've got the aliases of these characters. And the powers and stuff, and I'll see if you can figure out.
You've been proper building. You've been doing research for this.
I've been ready for this one. I've been really excited to do this. So we can do that, or you can do Black Panther first.
No, I'll jump in. I've got one more news story before we jump onto that. What do you guys make of Stan Lee raping nurses?
I've not read really anything about this because as soon as I saw the headline, I thought, I don't believe it. Like it's.
Well, I've got the full story here if you want me to.
Have you actually?
Yeah. Apparently, Stan Lee had like what he calls caretakers running his home.
Yeah.
Basically, nurses. You know,
Yeah.
they are nurses that, and the claim is from different nurses that they requested that he gets pleasured in the shower by them every day.
Oh God.
So the complaints got so bad that the nursing home or caretaker, whatever it's called, stopped providing the service to him in 2016.
All right.
And now they've gone like live with complaints and
But
stuff.
how long did they pleasure him in the shower? Like,
Well, I don't know.
this is the thing for me. Like, it's like if it's happened and he's done that, like he's an old man,
96.
96. You're like, come on.
And I know what you mean, but like, would you say the same about like the likes of Jimmy Savile's? Like, oh, he's dead.
Oh no, that's fucking. Well, hang on a second. Yeah, but that was nonsense up kids.
That's kids.
true.
That was
True.
kids. If there's
True.
a fully grown woman and this woman has, the nurses have done it, then like they've accepted doing it.
Yeah,
It's their own
He's asked and they've done it.
Did you see his? He made a statement, didn't he? Or I think it must have been his like PI person or something. But basically saying like that they're just trying to defame him. It's disgusting, these claims and stuff, and he's definitely not done it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, nothing will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been Googling it today, and the last news stories about it were dated the 10th of January, so nothing fresh has come out since the 10th of January.
You think he's going to be protected by Disney? Isn't he? Like if you're gonna,
To be fair,
Disney are going to do. He's got his own little gimmick things in the films, like his
name's on absolutely everyone as a producer. So
he's wrote.
they're not going to let anything happen to him.
Yeah, like he is the golden goose of Marvel.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to do it, and like you said, if he's 95 and these nurses obviously are going to be of age, if they've decided to do that, then that's on their choice. That's their choice to do it. Like like you said, if he was nonsense up kids, then fair enough. But
that's fair.
Yeah, a bit different.
Yeah.
So guilty, not guilty? What's the verdict? We'll get the lawyers involved.
Yeah.
Let's not say. Let's just say he was allegedly getting nurses to touch him.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Go on, then, let's get this game out.
Do you want to get the game out of the way? Should we give
chomping
it?
at the bit.
Yeah, I am really dying to do this.
Okay.
Don't read, right?
Well, I'm letting Heggie go through it. So,
well, I'm gonna pose them to both. I'm gonna ask you both to give me an answer.
oh,
I'm gonna give you points for it.
okay.
Try and get a winner. Right. So I've got 10 characters, and I'm basically gonna give you I'm gonna start off with just the character name, not his like, what do you call it? Like
Alias.
Sorry, I'm going to give you the alias, not the name of the person.
Right.
So, okay, the first one is a man called Monotony Man. Can you figure? I've got this is a villain. This is a villain.
DC.
That would be what DC.
And
Batman is he a Batman villain?
you're wrong. It's Marvel.
Oh God.
You're both wrong, so that's
Okay.
no
Right.
point. He's a villain. His identity has never been released in the comics, and his power is the best thing ever. He is able to produce a substance, like a black and grey substance, from his hands that would cause people to become complacent and bored.
What that is like? If you had every power on the planet and you got lumbered with that one, you think
Apparently, like he was just like wasn't liked before he became like a supervillain. He wasn't liked by anyone. Like they all found him boring, and then he got a power which made him be able to make everyone else bored.
in like writing comic books, you think, right, I've got a really good idea, monotony, man. Like, we'll run it. Let's go with that.
So that's the first one. That was
Awful.
That was Marvel, so no points for anyone.
Okay.
The second one is called The Living Eraser.
DC.
Yeah. DC.
You're both wrong again.
Oh God.
Marvel.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of these two characters.
Is a villain, a super villain from Marvel. Again,
Super villain. How is that a super?
Again, his identity was never unknown. His abilities are pretty self-explanatory, really. He can erase people. He was
He rubs people out.
He was
Rubs people the wrong
he
way.
literally, he literally does rub people out, though.
Yeah, Hitman. Yeah.
I think he was sent from another Earth to erase Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
God.
the third one, number 3, is American Eagle.
DC.
His alias. Well, that was his alias. His name is Jason Strongbow.
Jason Strongbow.
DC. He's an Arrow villain with a name like that.
He's saying he's Arrow.
An Arrow villain. Yeah.
Arrow. But he does sound like a cheap because you've got Captain America, and you. What was he called? Yeah,
was he
American
called?
Eagle. He's called.
American Eagle. Yeah, I'm going to go DC. American Eagle.
Yeah, I'm going both DC.
DC. Yeah.
It's another Marvel. This one.
Christ.
Is,
Marvel have got a bad track record here.
American Eagle is a hero. He's a superhero. He's got superhuman strength, speed, and he carries a crossbow which fires special bolts. Yeah, right. And the fourth one, number 4,
Right.
is The Question.
DC.
For the way that this is going, I'm going Marvel.
John, you're right. It's DC. DC, this one.
Is it a Batman villain?
I'm actually not sure. I don't think it was, but I think it. But when I looked, it didn't actually say what it was a villain of. No, sorry, it's a hero. The Question.
Oh, right.
It's a hero.
Is it not part of Watchmen? No, it's not.
What was he
No.
called?
Question. Called is it? And these are his powers, and these are actually the powers that were listed, and it was journalism,
Good power. Good power.
Good job.
shamanism, and knowledge of possible events in the past, present, and future.
Right.
So, yeah,
Should work on Blackpool front then. Really.
so that was a
There's a fortune
Tarot
teller.
reader.
Yeah, tarot
that
fortune
was
teller.
a DC character.
Right.
So 1 point for John.
Yep.
Yeah, but
1-0.
Number 4, we've got Captain Ultra.
Captain Ultra.
DC.
Marvel.
Is that your final answers?
Yeah.
All right, John, another point.
Oh,
And,
Is he like a superhero football fan or something?
He is a superhero named Captain Ultra. His actual name is Griffin Gogol.
Yeah, I knew that.
His powers include superhuman strength, flight, X-ray vision, and super breath.
so Superman.
Superman.
yeah, Superman. Right. So that's number 5. So 2 points to John, 0 to our resident
I
comic
knew for a
book.
fact when you were talking about this game, I thought I'm going to be absolutely awful at this.
Right. So number 6, Matter Eater Lad.
What the?
Matter
I've
Eater
never
Lad.
heard of these.
Marvel.
I'm going
Marvel.
DC, and it's just pot luck. This
Marvel.
DC. John's got
1
a
point for Heggie.
Oh no!
The DC is a character called Matter Eater Lad. His name is Tenzil Kem. He's a superhero.
Does he eat matter?
And he's able to bite through all forms of matter, including supposedly indestructible matter, which includes the likes of Superman
Right.
and Wonder Woman. He can bite through any matter at all.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a DC. So that's 2-1 to John.
Is this from the golden age of like comic books? You've got this.
I've gotten some pretty.
That sounds Silver Age. That to me, that's like that's what all the wacky stuff was, wasn't it, in the Silver Age?
Yeah.
Number 7. Ambush Bug.
Ambush Bug. Marvel. Ant-Man villain.
I'm gonna go DC again.
DC. Right, we've got 2-2. Well done, Heggie. This is a character named Erwin Schwab. He's a superhero who can teleport to anywhere in the multiverse.
Ant-Man. It's so
you can tell that they've like copied from each other over the years.
So
there was one I was looking at, and it was, I think it was essentially Wonder Woman again, and I was just like, and there was obviously the Aquaman one. Like I think that one was obviously
Namor and Aquaman.
So and there was like Hercules. I was looking at. I was like, everyone will know these ones. Like
it's like Hercules and Shazam and stuff in it. Like they just
So 7 in. We've got 2 points to each.
2 each.
God,
right, so we've got 3 left.
Have you got a tiebreaker?
Got 3 left. I was gonna do one for the end, but let's see. Right, so this one's called Big Wheel.
Big Wheel. DC.
Both DC?
Yeah.
DC.
You're both wrong.
Marvel.
Marvel, and it's a super villain named Jackson Wheel. His name's Jackson Wheel, and he literally drives a large metal wheel equipped with guns and Waldo arms.
I feel like if I was reading a comic book and that was the villain, I'd give up.
Yeah, you'd like, it's not for me.
Yeah, I think he was a villain of Iron Man. I'm not sure. I might be making that up, but he was a pretty out there, villain as it was. Number 9. 9 of 10 is Negative Man. What are you thinking?
I'm going DC.
I'm going DC. I was thinking Multiple Man, but that's definitely Marvel, so I'm going DC for Negative Man.
Both DC?
Yeah.
You're both right.
Yeah.
3 points to each. And the Negative Man was named Larry Trainer. He's a superhero who's radioactive. His powers include being radioactive. He can fly and temporary astral projection.
I'm sure
that Luke Skywalker.
Right. I'm sure he was in. I think he was in Justice League.
Was he?
Negative. I think he was. I might be wrong.
Well,
could be wrong.
There you go. And the final one.
Okay, so what's 3-all is this?
Yes, it is.
Final one.
This is the winner.
I'm just gonna give him his name, just his first name, and I want to see if you can figure it out because it's a pretty out there one. This.
Okay.
It's just a character called Danny.
What?
Just Danny. He's actually called something more, but
Marvel.
I'm going to explain.
Just Danny.
I'm going to explain why I'm saying that because it's pretty out there kind of character. This is a proper mental character.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going DC. I'm going DC. I've switched back DC.
I'm going to go DC.
Go DC.
Yeah.
Final answers?
I'm sure. Yeah. I've got a reason why I'm going DC, but yeah, DC.
What's it? They just call it Danny.
You're both right, but I want to know.
Is it the Living Street thing?
It is.
I remember you mentioned it at work.
That's why I only said Danny because I had a feeling I'd mentioned it before. I wanted to mention it because it's a Danny. It's a living street. Not only that, it's a cross-dressing living street named Danny the Street, and it can teleport to anywhere on Earth, and it kind of fits itself among normal streets, and no one notices it. It's a superhero, part of a team in the DC universe.
God,
yeah, a cross-dressing.
Got some absolute
cross-dressing street named Danny.
You can obviously tell some certain writers are just far better than
other ones. Yeah,
that's appalling.
I'm gonna name one more off the top of my head.
We could do a tie for the next episode if you want. We could.
Yeah.
So what?
We could do like a tie for now, and the next episode wins or
Bring it
something.
back, yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
3-all.
Bit of a cliffhanger for the listeners.
Fantastic.
Tune in next time.
We'll leave it there then.
They were
free
I've
are.
never heard
I'll-
of any of them.
That was kind of the point. I'll try and come up with some more obscure ones for next time,
Yeah,
and see what I can come up with.
sounds good. That was fun, that.
Yeah, fantastic. So, what are we doing now? We're moving on to. You want to talk about Black
Do you
Panther?
want to finish on Black Panther?
Yeah.
Have you got anything more after that you want to talk
It's the
about?
next one, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Innit? We are talking Marvel. So,
Yeah.
next film to come out is Black Panther, which is obviously featured. And I don't know who the main actors are, but I know it's got Andy Serkis in it, which I'm excited about.
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther.
And it's being directed by
Ryan Coogler.
who?
Creed.
The great director of Creed. Probably my favourite film of 2015.
Good film.
He also did Fruitvale Station that I've not watched yet, but it's meant to be good as well. Yeah, so he's got talent behind the camera, got talent people in front of the camera.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy who was in that awful Fantastic Four film?
Yeah, it's Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan as the bad guy. I don't know what the character's called. And then Andy Serkis as
Ulysses Claw.
Yeah. And you guys mentioned Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, she like Black Panther's mum or something.
No, she's head of the I always say this wrong. Dorma Milaje. She's like
that's their tribe, is it?
There's like he has like loads of wives, or like I've not really read much of Black Panther. I'm like scarce on him, but he's got like I think his wives or like relatives, and there's like his little crew that help him out, but they're like really badass and mint.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what his like half sister's called, but she's part of the Dorm Milaje. She makes all his suits and things like that. So it's pretty.
It's probably worth mentioning the reason like Andy Serkis is back in this is that Wakanda's where all the vibranium comes from. Is that right?
Yeah.
And like it was first mentioned back in Iron Man 2. I don't know if you remember that. When Tony Stark's in court, there's like videos of missile strikes in Wakanda, and it's like a little thing in the background saying Wakanda. So it's like back in Iron Man 2, they were nodding towards Black Panther and where the vibranium comes from and stuff like that.
You mentioned in Age of Ultron as well.
Yeah.
Not where it's from, but he says like he says about it being like the most strongest thing on the planet, and they make a frisbee out of it. Ultron says it.
Don't they actually go there on that ship at one point? Isn't that in Wakanda where they fight?
I don't think it's Wakanda. I think they go to like it's like Africa, maybe
South Africa or
somewhere near it. But he has like stupid amounts because he has like this. He says in Age of Ultron, isn't it? He says like when he's giving it to him, he says it come at a great price. And he's got like a brand on his like neck or on his arm.
Yeah.
But look, from what like the trailers I've seen, I think it looks unbelievable.
Yeah, like I think it's probably going to be one of the better films of the past couple of years that have come out of MCU, isn't it? I've enjoyed some of the ones that have come out. Like, I mean, I say that like the ones that came out last year, they were a bit scarce, weren't they? Like, Thor Ragnarok was pretty pants.
I've not seen that yet.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was pretty pants.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like, I feel like the first one was it was great because it was a whole new space thing and stuff like that, and they nailed it. I feel like the second one, because it wasn't as much, I feel like people didn't like it because it wasn't so in the story arc of Marvel. It wasn't that the Infinity Stones were nothing to do with it. Thanos was nothing to do with it. Like, it was all about one character in the Guardians.
And his dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hate the film. Like, I came out of it. I went with a friend and watched it in the cinema, and he came out and went, "Oh, that was much better than the first one." That I came out and went, "I definitely prefer the first," but I didn't hate it. I feel like it was a bit poorer than the first one. Like.
Yeah, I feel like some of the humour was a bit out there.
Yeah. Like the whole thingy bit with what's his name, the Hoff. Like,
Hasselhoff was in it.
Being his dad.
Yeah,
I want to be dad.
I weren't the biggest fan of that in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember we did a podcast on it, and it felt like I slammed it, but I gave it like 3.5 out of 5. So I didn't hate it or anything, but I just didn't think it was as good as the first one.
We've gone a bit off topic, to be fair. We were talking about
back to Guardians of the Galaxy.
we were talking about Black Panther, weren't we?
Yeah.
So, I'm proper excited for this film, though. Like, we've not mentioned yet. Like, you probably wouldn't really care, John, but Kendrick Lamar's doing the soundtrack for it, isn't he? So I'm quite excited about that. Like
half the trailer, half the trailer is one song, and then I've still not picked it up. it's like I think that is it. The revolution will not be televised, and then they've merged another song into it halfway through. I think it sounds sick, but just the look of the film, because I always say like trailers give away way too much sometimes now, but like they've not really shown loads. There's still loads of bits in between that I'm looking forward to seeing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the action looks quite good, I think, as well. Going back to Civil War, I thought that bit where Black Panther's chasing a car down just looked shit, I thought, when he's like running like super fast.
He's like running all the cars.
Yeah, I hated that. But in this one, the bit when he's like running through the street and he jumps off the building to like land on the car and puts his claws into the wheel, I thought, oh, that looks great.
Yeah, I understand what you mean with that. I remember like seeing that in the trailer for Civil War with Black Panther, because like that's how because he was introduced before Spider-Man in the trailer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he looks sick, and it's just I've not obviously seen the film yet, but I think the Civil War Black Panther suit looks far better than the Black Panther suit in this one. But only I've only seen the trailers, but I feel like the look of it looks a lot more like the comic book, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all quite excited for that film then.
I think we could all go watch it, maybe do a gallery night or something, do a podcast afterwards, like
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it'd only be us three.
yeah, probably. Just be
I mean, I'm down for that, to be honest. I mean,
Joe likes Marvel films, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we could get Joe to come and guess.
You did say Joe then, didn't you?
Trying to say Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
What would you think it says?
Oh, no, nothing. yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we could definitely organise that. Because I definitely want to see that on my opening weekend at least.
I think if it's an IMAX
after
as well, I think it looks sick.
Yeah.
Class that one. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
There's loads.
Any more we want to talk about the film, or
I don't think so.
should we end it there?
There's loads, isn't there? Marvel films come out this year.
Yeah, I mean, one last thing on the Black Panther thing. I saw somebody like complaining the other day on Twitter or something, saying like, "Oh, this film is so much about African pride, and yet like not one single shot's been filmed in Africa, no African actors and stuff." It's like, oh, come on, like, you know.
I just think that people nitpick about everything now. I think you're not going to please. If it could be it could be the best film in the world, and someone will always say something like nitpick about stuff like that. I think it's ridiculous.
I mean, that in terms of like filming in Africa, if it's cheaper to film in Atlanta, you're going to film in Atlanta. You know, it doesn't nothing to do with African pride. It's just economics.
I always think it's a full black cast, so they're obviously come from descendants of that. So I don't get why people are that picky about it. But
is the director black?
Yep.
Yeah, Vancouver.
So they've got a black director, all black cast apart from Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman, and they've got a black rapper doing the soundtrack. Like it's very African American, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sweet.
Should we end it there?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just mention we've got a Twitter first. We're on Twitter at DST Podcast. Follow us, like us, favourite us, whatever you do. I don't know what you do on Twitter. And message us, give us feedback and all that. I can also be found. No, sorry, we've got a Facebook. Just Facebook us. just type us in on the search bar and you'll find us. And you can find me at DST Nick on Twitter.
Yup, I'm at Taylor1980, and you can email at don'tspoiltheending@gmail.com. And Heggie, you on Twitter at all? Or?
I am on Twitter, but all I really do is retweet Liam Gallagher.
I mean,
That's fine.
You don't have to give it out if you don't want.
I honestly don't know mine, but I'm sure if you type in Adam Heggie, I'll appear. And
there you go. Then
ask
Heggie some comic book questions.
Yep, sounds good.
See retweets of Liam Gallagher, and I think that of food, lots of food.
Fantastic. We'll end it there then. Thanks very much for listening.
Yeah, cheers Heggie for coming on.
It's
been a pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me on.
We'll try. We'll maybe catch up in. I don't think we're planning on doing this like every week or anything. This one maybe once a month or maybe every 2 months. Whenever we can be asked.
Well, I'm thinking after Black Panther now.
Oh yeah,
we'll watch Black Panther.
We'll probably do another one after Black Panther.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks very much for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening. Cheers. And we'll see you again next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, see you.
Bye.